Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. Welcome to Introduction to Business, online or a face-to-face class. Today we're going to be discussing Chapter 6. So make sure you go into Blackboard, click onto Mindmap by Dr. George Mochocki, and this is what you'll have. It's a PDF file. It has to the second level. So remember, you could add in the other stuff after you read what most students found very beneficial going forward. You would print out this mind map. I've made this one in the 2 pages, very large enough, so you could start writing all your information that you need up in here. I've got the second tier, so after you read the book, just add on the other thing. Why take a risk? Oh, why take the risk? You add on here. What's an idea from an entrepreneurship? It's a new idea you're coming up with. Excuse me. All right? So let's go. Now, this entrepreneurship. Now, some of you may say, I want to only rework as a business, so we'll have an assessment. But what's an entrepreneur? He or she is somebody else that has an idea. So I could be an entrepreneur, open up a new business. I could be a manager, or I could be a owner within an existing company, and I have a new idea. So now I'm taking this entrepreneurship skills and attributes that I already developed. So why do I take a risk? Because I think it's something that I have a product that meets a need, and I can make a profit off of this. So I have an idea or a concept. And this is what you're going to be doing in your feasibility study when you'll be taking this class. You're doing a feasibility research paper. The first step is, hey, does it make sense? I've got an idea. Could I make money off of that idea? Entrepreneur team, when you look at an entrepreneur team, is basically a team that a lot of the colleges have with a small business association. And these are professionals that are either retired or for a minimal fee, depending on where you're at, how much you could afford. It's by your affordability per scale for small business, and they'll come in there and they'll review your ideas and your concept and give you ideas. Remember, you are still the entrepreneur or the manager. You make those decisions, okay? So I'm going to try this. Home base, you have a lot of entrepreneurs start off from home, try it out as a hobby, as a product, something happened, and all of a sudden more and more. The thing you have to understand, when you start off with the home base, it's good. You start off, you got the idea, the concept, you take all the risks, but if you grow too quickly, you're going to fail quickly too. Remember, you have to maintain your growth, because I've been working with one individual, and he's opened up, and all of a sudden, everything else is going so fast. You're growing too quickly. It's only you're only one individual. You're sole proprietor. We've learned before. Bring in a partner, because you won't be able to handle the load, and eventually people are going to drop you because you can't meet on the delivery dates that you promised them. Okay, benefits of home base. Downsize home base. And we'll talk a little bit about the home base. Okay, online business, and that's part of the entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs start online. You have an idea. Look, if I could digitalize it, I could go online. Online gives me provides me on the same level as I would be as a larger organization. As long as I have a good website and it comes across and people say, wow, this is a really good website, you must be a large organization. They don't know that I'm working out of my garage or working out of my office as I am here, okay? Entrepreneur is basically a creative person who works within a corporation. Some individuals got the entrepreneur spirits, but they still like the security and safety of a corporation. That's what we learned from the previous chapters when we were chapter 5 when we were discussing types of businesses. But they had their spirit. So organization understand that. So they will give individuals a little bit more flexibility. Even if I'm a corporation or a bureaucratic organization, I don't want to be so rigid. So what I'm basically doing is giving them a little bit more freedom. And the agreement is, if you come up with ideas and you come up with this, you will get a percentage of the ideas as I make it. You don't get the full thing, because remember, if you're an entrepreneur and you're just starting off yourself, you're taking all the risk. Since the organization is supplying you with the capital, is supplying you with the resources, it's taking most of the risk. You're actually working for the organization, so you get a smaller take. You get a certain percentage for so long. It may not be as much as if you were doing it on yourself, okay? Government and entrepreneurship, small businesses, independently owned. Remember, the difference between a small business owner and an entrepreneur that we've read in the other chapters was a small business. If I buy George's hot dog stand from Jack's hot dog stand and I convert it to George's hot dog stand, but I keep everything the same, I'm a small business owner. Nothing's changed. I'm not coming up with a new idea. But if I'll say, hey, I'm going to open up George's hot dog stand, and I'm doing it by myself, nobody else, I'm starting off, then I become an entrepreneur. After the business is running and everything else, I'm taking all the risks. I'm a self-starter. I understand. I don't have all the facts, but I know I have a vision and I have a mission and I have a goal, and I know how to achieve that. Okay? So that's that's the only difference. Is one, the business is already established and I'm picking up. But even an established business, if I decide to come up with a new idea, a new concept, I then become a, George's hot dog stand, but now I want to sell George's tacos as another what do you call it, product line to my hot dog stand. Now I become a new entrepreneur again. Okay, so why do most businesses fail? Businesses fail because they don't have any kind of plans. They have a good idea, they start off, they're all fired up and everything else, but they don't think it through. They don't have what we'll find out later on is writing a business plan. When you're doing a business plan, is the first step of a business plan is who are my customers, and that's what you'll be doing in your feasibility study. Who are my customers? Who's my market? How do they buy? What's the demographic? Who's my competition? All this you have information. How much should I charge? What's the competitive price? What's the regular price? What's my customer's pricing? What's my competitors charging the price? And what benefits are they giving to you? When Samsung came out against the Apple 5, they knew exactly what Apple was going to come, and they kind of jumped ahead of them because they already knew here's what they're doing. So if I am going to switch from one to the other, I have to have a plan. How am I going to get there? Okay, so now you have that major factors planning, what do you call it, financing, knowing the customers. All those are what you're going to do in your feasibility studies before you even write a full business plan. Now, a full business plan is now I've got the idea, I know my customers, I know it could be sustainable. Now I start writing a full business plan. A full business plan could be anywhere between 50 and 300 pages. And now it's going to tell me in detail all my customers, who are my employees, how am I going to market it to, who I'm going to sell it to, who's my suppliers, where I'm going to open up, what time. So do you see? So now when I have this business plan and I've looked at the after the feasibility study, now it's like an architect. Here I got a conceptual idea what kind of building I want, and he or she comes up with it. Now I actually have to do the details, provide the plans and everything else for zoning and for the builders and contractors and everything else. So that's what a business plan. Once you have a business plan, doesn't mean you still could fail, but you have a better idea. Now once you have the business plan, it's like a big resume. So when you're going for any kind of financing, the government or anyone else or bankers or venture capitalists that you can learn later on in financing, they basically want to see that you have an idea. Good idea, good concept idea. Who is going to implement it? So I have to know who the manager is. Where are you going to open up? And all these different attributes that you're going to be doing in your feasibility study is just a small portion that in the business plan. So when you present it to that individual, now you're going to be asking them for $50,000, $20,000, or $100,000. You can say, well, this person exactly looked at all the details. He or she knows what's going to happen. They understand the market. They know how to put this together, and I will supply them the money to go forward with this. Even if you're opened up on your own. Most businesses, if you talk to entrepreneurs or small business owners, they get started off and they're making a lot of errors and everything else. But with a business plan, you have an idea, at least a focus point that you know where to go to, okay? So you have that. Now, in a lot of small businesses, you're going to have a family affair. When I say a family affair is most small businesses start off with family members. I mean, who else could you afford? I'm a small business entrepreneur. Now, family members be selective. Family members will help you work out. But some family members, it's kind of hard to fire your wife or fire your son. But you have to do that. So even with the family members, you have family members coming in. Make sure, like we talked about the different types of structures and everything else, that you know who's, when we talk of FOIL's division of labor, who's in charge. What happened to the dispute? Who's the vice president? I may be the vice president and you're the president. So who has a higher ranking? The president. But I'm the chief financial officer. Even though it may be 2 or 3 of you in the business, everyone knows the role. Everyone knows what happens to do. Just like a small business. So you have to have some kind of plan, but it's a little harder with a small family. But that's all you can afford, and that's where you're going. Okay, capital sources. Most people, when you start off your entrepreneurship or your new business, I'm not talking about entrepreneur from a corporation that they're going to fund it, but even that funding, you're going to have a budget. You have to supply. I need so much money. It's like kind of a grant that the company's giving you to run with this new idea. But they're not going to give you the money. You have to say, here's where it's coming, and here's how much return for the investment you're going to give me that I will give back to the organization. But now the same logic is when I'm opening up my own hot dog stand, or I'm opening up my t-shirt making the thing, or I'm opening up a church, I'm opening up a small synagogue, whatever, or I'm opening up a mosque. And all those start off someplace. It may be small, maybe larger, you know what I mean? Because however you want to look at it, but where are you going to get the money from? So you could personal savings is a good one. You have friends or relatives, you have former employees, you have banking finances. You're going to want a business plan. There's no way around. They're not going to give you any kind of the cash unless they know that you have an actual plan. Government agencies, the Small Business Association, SBA.gov, they have a branch there for investment, and they'll tell you, here's for someone who has money. Sometimes if you're a minority or a woman, like it or not, there's money out there. You're doing some kind of exporting, not importing. We get too much junk coming in there. If you're doing exporting, there is money out there. If you're a minority, there's money out there. A lot of individuals say, well, I don't want to take handouts from the government, because a lot of cultures that we've learned from Chapter 3 do not like to give handouts because they figure it's I'm not in a welfare state. I want to make it on myself. What you have to understand in business, when the Small Business Association gives you grant money, it's not a handout. It's seed money, because the government knows once your business is successful and you start building, what's going to happen? The first couple of years you may not be making money, but remember Adam Smith that we learned in Chapter 2, the invisible hand, comes into play here, because as your business grows, you're going to hire more people, and those individuals will basically be able to spend back in the economy. So when I'm looking at the seed money, what I'm saying, even if it's the grant money, seed money, after you're up and running, trust me, the government will tax you. They will get their money back. Trust me. So don't now look at it as a handout. It's not a welfare. It's seed money, because the government wants to stimulate the economy. And if you're looking at going forward, the best way to stimulate the economy, if you're looking at Germany and all the other ones, is not the large corporations. That has a big factor, but it's because Germany has a lot of small businesses that are doing international selling all over the world, their product. So international or domestically. So if I could stimulate the economy and get by a grant and what do you call it, open up my business, it's good. It's a plus for overall. It's good seed money. Now the other thing, venture capitalists. The bank and no one else is going to give me money. Angel investors, you're going to find that in small business, but you have venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are going to look at it this way. They're going to want money. They're going to supply you the money because they know no one else is going to give you. You got a good idea, but they're going to want part of the management. That's just how they work. So remember, you're going to get the money, but I'm not going to say you're going to sell someone your soul, for lack of a better word, because you owe to them. Make sure you understand the agreement and how, when you get them off your back. As you grow, you don't want that venture capitalist there, unless you need more money and you have a good relationship. But it's kind of here, okay, you went so far, we ended, I'm paying you back, and that's how I get out of the agreement. But if you got a good idea, sometimes the venture capitalists, they have a lot of things in there because you just want the cash. It's almost, so it may not be favorable to you, but be favorable to the venture capitalists. So you got the Small Business Association, you'll start a microloan, 1991, provide very small loans to small business owners, and those are grants, but you need, what do you call it, a business plan. Okay, you have the SBIC, is Small Business Investment Company, and I've got the links when you go to small SBA, and if you also go through Blackboard, taking this course, they have a whole thing that has the business corner, and they have links to all these government things. You know, make sure you understand the market, make sure you, small business prospects abroad. Look, if you could buy your product overseas because you've got a relationship from global, you came from Puerto Rico, or you came from let's say Germany, you came from France or something else, and then you open up your business here, so you have ties, you have family members. Yeah, if you could get your supplies, depending on the exchange rate, buy your supplies that way. Or you have a market there because you could sell your friends and family. You understand the market there, but you're producing it here or making it here, and then you're selling it, you're exporting. Okay, I have others, managing employees, usually the hardest. So make sure you take a supervision class if you're going to be open up what do you call it, a small business, or even as a manager, take supervision management. And marketing research is basically your feasibility. Before you open, you have to understand your market. And the market is not so, oh, there's all these people, everyone's going to buy my product. No, who's your market? And we're going to find that out when we're going to do the couple of chapters going on in marketing and advertising. All right, so this is chapter, we're finishing chapter 6, entrepreneurship, and this is a quick overview utilizing the concept map. Read the book, do the connect homework assignment, look at everything else, look at these concept maps, look at the PowerPoint, and trust me, if you have the same skills as an entrepreneur, when we go to the next chapter 7, that we'll be talking about leadership, is the same skill sets. Only for a small business, same skill sets you need as an entrepreneur, you need as a leader, as a manager in corporations. Okay, so my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this class, we just finished chapter 6, is a series of introduction to business on entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. Bye.